I'm Sabrina Zainal, and this is Nightline, news making the headlines. Social media restrictions needed to combat harmful info, says Prime Minister. And LRT3 to begin taking passengers by the third quarter of next year. Good morning. We begin with this story. Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim said that the government is introducing certain restrictions on social media and online messaging services to counter the spread of harmful information. He added that although the new regulations may not be popular, they are necessary to address issues such as fake news, scams and cyberbullying.
Government trying to introduce some restrictions. Not necessarily popular, because those who believe in unbridled freedom means we have every right to express our views, regardless of the impact to the society. Even ignoring the fact that girls decided or forced, compelled to commit suicide because this was harassment. So the challenge is therefore to place order and not unbridled freedom or capitalism, but to place values above the expression of individual freedom at the expense of peace and welfare of the society.
Anwar said this during his speech at the 7th World Conference on Islamic Thought and Civilization, WCIT, in Ipoh on Monday. The three-day event was officiated by the Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Muizzuddin Shah. Last Saturday, the Malaysian Communications and Multimedia Commission, MCMC, announced that all social media and online messaging platforms with at least 8 million registered users in Malaysia must apply for a license. However, the new regulation will apply only to the platforms themselves and not to users. Appropriate legal action will be taken against those who fail to comply. This measure will commence on August 1st, with enforcement taking effect from January 1st next year to ensure a safer online ecosystem for the people. Meanwhile, Anwar said that engagement between Muslims and others is necessary for fostering mutual understanding and avoiding disagreements that lead to Islamophobia. According to the Prime Minister, the problem facing society today is due to a lack of concern, which often generates negative feelings and rejection towards groups with different backgrounds.
How do you then survive and live in a society like a multiracial, multi-religious country in Malaysia and avoid discussing other religions, other cultures, other civilizations, and then demanding that the West must understand us? So I think it is an engagement that is required by us to get others to understand us and for us to understand them. That is why we have encouraged, other than conferences such as this, Dialogue of Civilizations, Islam and Confucianism, because it's very relevant, not only in Malaysia, but in this region.
He also urged Muslims to understand the concept of Ladzatul Ma'rifah, which means sharing knowledge, learning and scholarship. Anwar also said that Muslims must have the courage and conviction to continue engaging in discourse and intellectual pursuit, to understand, appreciate and realize that this is essential not only for achieving peace and prosperity, but also for ensuring sustainability through thoughtful discussions.
The Light Rail Transit 3, LRT3, is expected to begin taking passengers in the third quarter of next year. Transport Minister Anthony Loke Siu Fook said construction on the LRT3 project stood at 95.6% and the physical work is expected to be completed by October.
Loke said the system integration and testing will take place until early next year, with the testing and commission phase to commence first, which will last 3 to 4 months. The project is experiencing delays from the original schedule due to setbacks during the COVID-19 period. The 16 billion ringgit LRT3 project, which runs from Klang to Bandar Utama in Petaling Jaya, is expected to benefit over 2 million residents. Loke also said the cabinet meeting on July 5th had agreed to reinstate the 5 stations which had been cancelled: Tropicana, Temasha, Raja Muda, Bukit Raja and Bandar Botanik. In 2018, Prasarana had shelved the construction of the 5 stations with very low projected passenger ridership until a time demand deemed it necessary. Lok said that reinstating the 5 stations was expected to cost 3.8 billion ringgit.
The Digital Ministry will propose the establishment of a Malaysian Data Commission to enable the development of frameworks and policies to protect people's data and promote the use of data centres. To enable this, its Minister, Gobind Singh Deo, said amendments to the Personal Data Protection Act 2010 would be tabled in Parliament next March or in the middle of next year.
According to Gobind, new technologies are becoming increasingly dependent on artificial intelligence, AI, and the government is aware that the most important aspect for the success of this industry is to strengthen the data center segment. That is why the government is focusing on attracting significant investments, particularly from companies like Google, Microsoft, ByteDance, and others, which involve substantial amounts of capital. Currently, Malaysia only has a data committee and a commissioner. Gobind said that his ministry will focus on utilizing the platform as well as strengthening this committee. Moving forward, the ministry will propose to the government that this committee be made into a data commission so that it can focus more on data-related matters.
Now, the Plantations and Commodities Ministry has ordered the Malaysian Cocoa Board, LKM, to fully focus on research and development, R&D, especially the aspect of cocoa-related diseases. Its Minister, Datuk Sri Johari Abdul Ghani, said the issue of cocoa-related diseases will be the main problem, which is among the causes of the cocoa industry in this country being affected.
According to Johari, R&D is the most effective initiative to overcome cocoa-related diseases. He stressed that if the problem is not addressed, farmers will have to incur losses, which at the same time affects the country's cocoa production.
Bila kita dapat resource cepat, maka petani akan untung. Tapi kalau tak ada orang menyelesaikan masalah ni, maka dia rugi, dia tak naklah tanam. Bila tak nak tanam, maka dia convert lah pergi tanaman lain. Kan? Dia tu kita tak nak. Kita nak biar dia stay kat koko. Ada R&D ni penting kita buat. Ya?
The minister earlier opened a post-harvest technology course and group strengthening program in Keningau, Sabah. According to him, the cocoa industry previously produced up to 300,000 metric tons a year. In 2023, the cocoa industry contributed 8.2 billion ringgit in export revenue. As of May 2024, the export revenue from the cocoa industry has reached 4.8 billion ringgit, approximately 58% of last year's total.
Following the dry spell affecting some parts of the country, cloud seeding operations began in Kedah and Perak on Monday and will be carried out for 3 consecutive days until Wednesday. The National Disaster Management Agency, NADMA, stated that the focus of the operations is at the Muda Dam in Kedah and the Bukit Merah Dam in Perak to increase water levels for irrigation in paddy planting areas in both states. Now, the cloud seeding operations are being carried out by the Royal Malaysian Air Force, RMAF, involving 4 tanks containing saline solution transported using a C-130 Hercules aircraft. A total of 200 kilograms of salt and 1,500 liters of water were used for saline solution on the first day of the operation. NADMA has stated that the cloud seeding operations are necessary to address the shortage of rainfall, which could lead to a continuous decrease in water reserves and an inability to meet long-term needs. The National Water Services Commission, SPAN, also noted that the current water levels in both reservoirs have dropped significantly to 14.86% for the Bukit Merah Dam and 8.36% for the Muda Dam. Moving on, in Johor, the suspect in the kidnapping case of 6-year-old girl Albertine Liu Jiahui has been remanded for another 6 days. The remand order was issued by Magistrate Nur Fazlin Hamdan at the Johor Bahru Magistrates Court on Monday.
Nur Fazlin ordered the remand period of the 31-year-old male suspect from Tuesday until this Sunday. Previously, the suspect was remanded for 7 days from July 23rd until Monday to assist the investigation under the Penal Code and the Sexual Offences Against Children Act 2017. Earlier, Johor Police Chief CPM Kumar was reported to have requested the extension of remand against the local male suspect to enable further investigation to be carried out against the suspect Iskandar Putri District Police Chief ACPM Kumarasan was previously reported asking for the public's help in locating the child who was noticed missing by her father at 8:30 p.m. 20th July at a shopping centre. The child was found safe in a cheap hotel in Batangkali, Selangor at 4:45 a.m. on July 23rd, and the police also arrested a man who was found with the victim.
Also in Johor, a secondary school student has been reported missing in Muar since Sunday. The 14-year-old is Muhammad Afzal Danish Muhammad Effendi, a student of SMK Sultan Alauddin Riayat Shah 1. According to Muar District Police Chief Assistant Commissioner Rais Mukhlis Azman Aziz, the student was said to be wearing his school uniform when he was reported missing. He said the victim has since been uncontactable. A social media post of the missing person said Muhammad Afzal Danish was last seen walking to his school at 7:10 a.m. on Sunday. Those with information are urged to contact the nearest police station. At least 8 stabbed in major incident in the UK. News from the foreign front when we return.
Bagai? Bagai?
Oh, peraduan jantung ke peribahasa.
Ya, boleh teka tak? Aku nak hantar penyertaan di bigtree.com.my. Mana tahu boleh menang gadget.
Jangan lupa, clue hanya di papan iklan digital Big Tree sehingga 31 Julai. Layari bigtree.com.my untuk info lanjut.
Rumah kongsi di sebalik ladang kelapa sawit.
Belakang. Adik-adik.
Jalan kaki redah laluan haram.
Kamu masuk macam mana?
Mandi tu Thailand.
Thailand.
Ya.
Jalan darat.
Jalan kaki.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
We're back with the foreign front. At least 8 people were transported to hospitals with stab wounds on Monday following a major incident in the United Kingdom. According to officials, officers responded just before noon local time to reports of a stabbing at a property on Hart Street in Southport. The 8 injured people were transferred to Alderhay Children's Hospital, Aintree University Hospital, and Southport and Formby Hospital. The patients' conditions and ages were not immediately released. Now, officials also said armed police have detained a male and seized a knife. The suspect has been taken to a police station as the Liverpool hospital declared Monday's stabbing a major incident. Also in the UK, the finance minister on Monday said the previous government covered up things in the public finances and that Labour has inherited a projected overspend of £22 billion from the previous Tory administration. In a speech in the House of Commons, Chancellor Rachel Reeves accused the previous Conservative government of covering up the true state of the public finances as she revealed the results of the Treasury spending audit she commissioned. According to Reeves, the Office for Budget Responsibility, OBR, was not aware of some of the spending commitments and the Tories misled the OBR. She also said a new Office of Value for Money will now start to work right away to identify and recommend areas where the government can save money in the current financial year. The office is expected to announce public cuts worth billions to plug the gap in the public finances that could see the cancellation of projects, including Boris Johnson's new hospital program. France's interior minister on Monday said the country is leaning towards the likelihood that far-left extremists were behind last week's sabotage of the country's SNCF rail network. According to Minister Gérald Darmanin, they have now identified the profiles of several people in regards to the hunt for the saboteurs. He added the attacks were deliberate, very precise, extremely well-targeted, and a traditional type of action from the ultra-left. However, when asked whether the profiles that were identified were close to the far left, Darmanin said they must be cautious. Meanwhile, a statement signed by an unexpected delegation was sent to several news media outlets expressing support for the sabotage and criticizing the Olympic Games as being a celebration of nationalism and the oppression of peoples by nation states. Dharmana said the statement was something that resembles a claim. Nicolas Maduro has been declared the winner of Venezuela's presidential election by the government-controlled Electoral Authority, a result that appeared to dash opposition hopes of ending his authoritarian socialist rule. After a 6-hour delay in releasing the results of Sunday's poll prompted international concern, the council claimed Maduro had won with 51.21% votes, compared with 44.2% for his rival, Edmundo González Urrutia. The council said that with about 80% of votes counted, Maduro had secured more than 5 million compared with Gonzalez's 4.4 million. The results, however, was immediately challenged by rivals and several governments in the region and beyond. Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado, who had thrown her weight behind Gonzalez's campaign after being banned from running, rejected the result, claiming the opposition had won in every single state.
Meanwhile, leaders across the Americas reacted to Venezuela's electoral authority's announcement just after midnight on Monday that President Nicolas Maduro has won a third term in office, despite multiple exit polls which pointed to an opposition win. The U.S. Secretary of State, Antony Blinken, said his government had serious concerns that the result announced does not reflect the will or the votes of the Venezuelan people. Blinken, who was in Tokyo, said it is critical that every vote be counted fairly and transparently, that election officials immediately share information with the opposition and independent observers without delay, and that the electoral authorities publish the detailed tabulation of votes. At the same time, Spain's Foreign Minister, José Manuel Álvarez, said his government wanted to see a breakdown of the results before recognizing Maduro's win, while Chile's President Gabriel Boric, however, said Maduro's regime must understand that the results it has published are hard to believe and that Chile will not recognize any result that is not verifiable.
In other news, Turkey President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has threatened to send troops into Israel to intervene on behalf of Palestinians in an escalation of rhetoric that raises fears of wider regional conflict. Earlier, Turkish and Israeli officials unleashed barbs at one another after Erdogan said that there is no reason that Turkey could not act, noting military interventions made in the past in other countries. Erdogan then told a meeting of his ruling Justice and Development Party in the city of Rize that Turkey must be very strong so that Israel cannot do these ridiculous things to Palestine. Shortly after Erdogan's speech, the Israeli foreign minister took to social media to state that the Turkish president was following in the footsteps of former Iraqi dictator Saddam Hussein by threatening to attack Israel. In retaliation, Turkey, not for the first time, compared Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to Adolf Hitler. National badminton contingent continues to shine in quest for gold. 2024 Paris Olympics after this breather.
Rumah kongsi di sebalik ladang kelapa sawit.
Belakang. Adik-adik.
Jalan kaki redah laluan haram.
Kamu masuk macam mana?
Mandi tu Thailand.
Thailand.
Ya.
Kau apa? Jalan darat?
Jalan kaki.
Saksikan 999 Selasa jam 9 malam di TV3 dan stream sekarang melalui Tonton.
Hei, sila! Dengar harga? Beliau dah. Hai, boleh.
Mak tak tahu apa, kenapa mak dibunuh, tak ada apa yang dia ambil.
Cucu kepada si mati ni bersembunyi di bawah katil.
We're back with sports. Football, the 2024 ASEAN Under-19 Championship. The national U19 squad ended their campaign in 4th place as they lost 3-5 on penalties to Australia after a 1-1 draw on Monday.
The young Socceroos opened the scoring with a close-range goal by Marcus Younis in the 28th minute, giving Australia a 1-0 lead before halftime. Malaysia fought back after the break and equalised in the 73rd minute thanks to an own goal by Australia's Jake Najdovski. The 1-1 scoreline remained unchanged until the final whistle, leading to a penalty shootout to find the winner. In the shootout, Juan Torres Garrido's side unfortunately missed 2 of their penalty attempts, allowing Australia to claim the 5-3 victory on penalties. For the record, Malaysia emerged winners of the championship in the 2018 and 2022 editions.
On to badminton, the 2024 Paris Olympics. National women's singles shuttler Go Jin-wei marked her debut with a winning start, beating Johanita Schultz of South Africa in the Group H on Monday.
World number 32 Jin-wei shrugged off a slow start to clinch a 23-21, 21-11 win against her world number 103 opponent. Jin-wei will face South Korea's world number 17 Kim Ga-eun in the final fixture to decide on the group winner on Wednesday. It's a make-or-break match for both players as only the group winner will qualify for the knockout round. Earlier, the national badminton squad created another major upset at the Paris Olympics when mixed doubles pair Chen Tangji and To Yi-wei beat world number 2 Feng Yanjie Huang Dongping of China. Their 17-21, 21-15, 21-16 win in 70 minutes made them Group D champions and promised them an easier path in the quarterfinals. After losing the first game, the world number 9 pair rocked the 8,000-strong crowd with a scintillating performance in the next 2 sets to clinch victory. In the quarterfinal knockout stage, Tang Ji and Yi Wei will meet one of the group runners-up with a draw expected to be made on Tuesday after all the doubles group matches have been completed.
Still on the Olympics, French swimming sensation Léon Marchand won the 400-meter medley gold on Sunday and also broke the Olympic record previously set by U.S. swimmer Michael Phelps.
22-year-old Marchand carried the expectations from his nation and clocked 4 minutes and 2.95 seconds to hold both Olympic and world records in the event. It was not so much a contest as a coronation for Marchand, with Japan's silver medalist Tomoyuki Matsushita and bronze-winning American Carson Foster never threatening the young Frenchman as he became his nation's first Olympic champion in an individual medley event. Previously, swimming icon Phelps had set the record of 4 minutes and 3.84 seconds at the 2008 Beijing Games.
Moving on to tennis, top seed Novak Djokovic overcame a brief bout of nerves before beating Rafael Nadal in straight sets on Monday, powering his way into the 3rd round of the Olympic tennis men's singles. 24-time Grand Slam champion Djokovic delivered a stellar performance in the first set before taking down 38-year-old Nadal 6-1. Nadal made a strong effort to recover in the second set, but Djokovic proved too formidable, securing a 6-4 victory after an hour and 37 minutes. Djokovic will next face either Germany's Dominic Puffer or Matteo Arnaldi of Italy. Turning to motorsports now, the 2024 Formula One Belgian Grand Prix. Lewis Hamilton was awarded victory on Sunday after his Mercedes teammate George Russell, who had crossed the finish line in first place, was disqualified due to his car being underweight at the end of the race.
Russell, who started from 6th place on the grid, benefited from switching to a one-pit stop strategy during the race and went on to claim what was initially a second Grand Prix win of the season, finishing half a second ahead of Hamilton. However, a technical delegates report released after the race revealed that Russell's car was 1.5 kilograms below the minimum weight requirement, which allowed Hamilton to inherit the victory. The ruling also promoted McLaren's Oscar Piastri to 2nd place, while Ferrari's Ferrari's Charles Leclerc completed the podium. The win means Hamilton has now secured the Belgian Grand Prix 5 times, drawing level with Ayrton Senna and one behind Michael Schumacher.
Coming up, High Court rules Navy cadet officer's death as homicide. The details after this short break.
Hey, Sila! Enggak harga? Beliau dah. Baik. Boleh.
Mak tak tahu apa, kenapa mak dibunuh. Tak ada apa yang dia ambil.
Cucu kepelasi mati ni bersembunyi di bawah katil.
Menarik sepanjang minggu.
Kes orang hilang semakin membimbangkan. Apakah langkah perlu kita lakukan?
Adakah HIV masih menjadi ancaman kepada masyarakat?
Buli cyber, apakah kesannya terhadap mangsa?
Minyak masih terpakai, inisiatif yang penting untuk menjaga ekosistem.
Soal wang membincangkan kos pengurusan jenazah.
MHI setiap Isnin hingga Jumaat 9.30 pagi eksklusif di TV3.
Juga stream melalui Tonton.
Thanks for staying with us. The Ipoh High Court has overturned the open verdict issued by the Coroner's Court inquiring into the death of Royal Malaysian Navy and Cadet Officer J. Susaimanikum, reclassifying it as homicide. In reaching this decision, Judge Dato' Abdul Wahab Muhammad stated that the coroner had erred by delivering an open verdict without considering all the available evidence before her.
Abdul Wahab said that the evidence pointed out that the cause of death of the deceased is pulmonary edema caused by leptospirosis. He also ruled that Susaimanikum's death, which occurred at the KD Sultan Idris Naval Base in Lumut Perak on May 19, 2018, was a direct consequence of the RMN officers in charge of cadets training denying him medical treatment. Lawyer Zaid Malik, who represented Susaimanikum's family, said the family was grateful for the decision as they had been fighting for justice for the past 6 years. The appeal was filed by the late cadet's father, 71-year-old S. Joseph, who was not satisfied with the decision made by the coroner's court. On June 16th last year, the Ipoh Coroner's Court delivered an open verdict following the inquest into Susaimanikum's death. At the time, Coroner Ainul Shahrin Muhammad determined the cause of death to be pulmonary edema, but said she could not attribute the death to anyone in particular. Meanwhile, in Johor, an oil palm company secretary pleaded not guilty to charges of forging documents. Muhammad Hizafik Harizan was alleged to use false documents in connection with the proposed dividend payment at the rate of 82.06%, which was more than 3 million ringgit. It included a proposed director's allowance payment and incentive payment to the company secretary and accounts officer for the year ending May 31, 2021. The accused was alleged to have committed the offence at Jalan Bukit Timbalan, Johor Bahru, between August and December 2021. A probe was conducted under the Penal Code. Johor Bahru Sessions Court Judge Siti Nuraida Sulaiman set bail at 15,000 ringgit. The court set September 3rd for remention of the case.
As Nightline draws to a close this time around, let's take a look as thousands of people visit a small village in Russia's Kaluga region for the annual Archstoyani Land Art Festival, famous for its impressive and bizarre performances and installations. With that, I'm Sabrina Zainal. Thank you for tuning in and be safe.